This is Quantum Flow Radio, organizing thought particles into a flow of collective consciousness.
Hello, my friend. It's nice to see you again.
It's good to be back. Always great to see you.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing that we've committed to here, and it is so much fun, and I enjoy this so much. We have all these great topics.
We have a lot of great discussion here on the Q.
Yep, and many more to come.
Yeah, and
we're never going to run out of stuff to talk about.
Well, I don't think we'll run out of subjects. No. So today we're going to discuss the creative process and how that interplays with the subconscious mind and your superconscious. I mean, I just see people just running to listen to this. I mean,
this is important.
Actually, it is important because you know what? Everything you do is part of the creative process. Just waking up, everything. So people don't realize how important this is.
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about it, it's pretty amazing.
It is, and not just individually, but collectively.
Right on, brother, because it is, because we do create individually, but since we all know we're all part of one, we're all creating, in essence, everything.
Yeah, and that's why we really and truly, and you remind me of this on a regular basis, have to mind the mind.
Yes, mind your mind.
Yeah, mind the gate.
That's well said.
That's something that you have to. Once you have the understanding that whatever you think, say, or do is part of the creative process, and it doesn't go away,
it goes.
It goes somewhere.
And it's out there, and it never goes away, and it's part of literally the constructive construct of this matrix.
Yes,
it's
matrix,
part of everything.
Great word.
Yeah.
Max Planck calls it the matrix of consciousness,
which is right up what we're doing.
Yep.
And today, again, the creative process. So, when you think of the creative process, it's as simple as it could be as simple as just waking up, or what I like to do is I always equate it to making a sandwich.
Making a sandwich.
Yeah. What we can do is let's just talk about just making a sandwich. I mean, you're hungry.
Yep.
That's the first step, and you know that you want to go eat. So you have lots of options.
Sure. Well, and you also begin with the actual thought that you're hungry.
Yes, and it might even actually be the body reacting to something, but yet that's still part of the creative process. Something's telling you you're hungry.
Time to eat.
Time to eat. So then you go down to the kitchen, or, you may go over
drive-through or whatever.
Whatever. That's just it. If you have food in the house, you're going to go down. You're going to make a sandwich.
Yeah.
If there's no lunch meat or peanut butter, you adjust and say, well, then I'll eat this, and then you go to plan B. But you're always in the process of creating it. Because you're never not going to not eat.
Right.
Or is that a double negative? You're never not going to eat. Because you're hungry.
Yeah, sure.
Put it this way. If the cupboard's empty,
Yep.
then you go to a peripheral option.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll get in your car, you'll walk to the store, and you'll go there. And they may not have, like, I was somewhere today, and I asked for orange juice, and they said that they didn't have any. So then I got hot chocolate.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't quite an exact substitute, but what I did was I adjusted for the creative process.
Sure.
Yeah. So again, it's just amazing. Everything you do, just is in this creative process, and it could be as simple as making a sandwich. But then we're not going to really concentrate on that. We're going to concentrate on the bigger picture stuff.
Yeah.
Creating
stuff that you want.
Stuff you want, stuff you may even need.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about it on the highest level of creativity, like what artistic people do, artists, musicians, book writers, people that even kind of do radio shows. There is a process of it all, and there's a preparation involved. Some of us maybe just show up to the mic and have a beautiful proficiency just to espouse beautiful thoughts without even knowing or studying anything. But then again, those people are probably far and few between. Then there's us who have to. Exactly. So,
sorry.
But the really interesting about the creative process is this, and you probably didn't know I was going to go there. If you look up the creative process, like, DuckDuckGo, Google, whatever, if you go on YouTube, anything, every Tom, Dick, and Harry has the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different stages of the creative process.
Yeah.
Everybody's tried to
Dissect it.
into stages. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
But it kind of diminishes maybe the real creative process. But guess what?
What?
I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon and come up with this is how we're going to lay our foundation.
Okay.
It's the 5 stages of the creative process.
We're going with 5.
From it.
I'm all about 5.
Yeah.
I like 5.
Yeah, 5. Wasn't Speed Racer's number 5?
Mach 1.
Mach
or
1.
the Mach 5. Sorry. Maybe that was the speed. No, Mach 5.
No, he
Yeah.
was going Mach 1, yeah. Isn't that amazing how you're trying to write in the same sentence? You got it wrong.
Yeah.
Only on the cue.
At least I got Mach right.
Right. At least we're not talking about car 54 again.
No.
Because I think it was car 54.
53 or
50,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So the 5 stages of the creative process.
Yes.
Okay. I guess everybody wants to boil it to a formula, so we're going to do that. So I'll just go through them. Stage 1, and this is my interpretation.
Sure.
What I did is I took everybody else's and I said, I don't like that. I like this. Forget that. That's really stupid. This is brilliant. Okay. I made my own.
You should write scripture.
I should. I'm working on a rewrite of the Bible. It's
Okay.
taking a long time.
Right?
There's really not much to rewrite anyway, though.
It's all
That's-
been done
that's a
before.
joke.
Yeah. It's all been done before.
Well, there is the Old Testament and the New Testament, although they're quite different.
Yeah.
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 So these are the 5 stages. Number 1,
Yep.
inspiration.
Inspiration's
Yeah.
good.
So inspiration is what we discussed. It's either you're hungry or whatever. It's just the first initial thought, and you get your inspiration from somewhere. But we're talking about not so much sandwiches. Say you're writing a song or a book.
Yeah.
You get inspiration. You see something.
Yeah.
That inspired me. I'm going to work on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about that.
Yeah. And that generally that inspiration is basically coming from deep within.
Correct.
It's a suggestion.
And a lot of people think it all starts here at the heart base, the root of your heart, as opposed to the mind. We always say, you think with your heart. A lot of people say that you think with your mind, but the mind just convolutes everything that your heart really wants and desires.
Right.
Okay. Number 2, preparation. So this is the next stage.
Okay.
Okay. So you start preparing. This is other similar kind of analogies would be the investigation stage or evaluation.
Yeah. Should I do this?
Yeah.
Is this the right time?
Right.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I need to back up. I forgot to mention under inspiration, you could put illumination. Okay, so that's another word
Yeah.
for that.
Good.
So 2's preparation. 3, incubation. Notice a trend here.
Yes. A
The,
lot of
the
shuns.
the shuns.
Yeah.
I just thought that was, it's not clever. It's repeating what everybody else did.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people on their list, they missed 1 or 2 stages that didn't go with the other shuns.
Yeah, they should have picked
So
another word.
exactly. I said there's plenty of words
You
to pick
can't-
from.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't go to press without all of that.
So the incubation is basically where your subconscious, your superconscious, it's the gestation period. It's almost like, where you're going through, you're creating the actual act of the creative process.
It's brewing the coffee.
It's brewing. It's brewing. Yeah. Number 4, verification. This is the final stage before, you're basically kind of done. This is where, after the incubation stage, where you've basically created what you want, you kind of finish it, and then you go back and say, is this good? Is this what I want? It's almost a check and balance stage. They're very important because this is before you actually do the full execution or you unveil your creativeness. This is where you'll get validation, perhaps, and sometimes you'll check with other people.
Yeah.
More times than not, this creative process is internal, but at some point we do show other people and say, hey, is this good? What do you think of this?
Yeah, kind of like the checklist before you take a trip.
Right. And
You load the car and you're going through, okay, do we have this? Do we have that? Do we
it's
have
after
this?
you've loaded the car and before you actually get out on the trip, which is ultimately the goal, or to get there.
Yeah.
But this would be the time of like if you were writing a book, you'd have a manuscript. It's not done. You may not even have your cover yet, and you may not even have your book title, but yet there's something there. You've created it, and you want to say, hey, is it just me, or is this really good, or is this bad?
Yeah.
So okay. And then, of course, we only have 5 stages. So the last stage, and of course, you could add little mini stages in here, but we just wanted to short circuit that.
Yeah.
The last stage is the execution. This is literally the implementation of the energy that you created. Okay, and this is the get it done. This is where you sign off on it, where you feel that it's ready to be unveiled, it's ready to be put in front of other people.
You
in
launch
front of
the rocket.
Yeah, you launch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's it. Inspiration, preparation, incubation, verification, execution.
Yep.
If we missed anything, it's in there, I'm sure.
Yeah, because it's our top 5.
It's, exactly, and that's my list. So, and I created it, and I could care less what anybody else thinks. But
Right.
actually, I do care.
It's just being honest about it.
Yeah,
That's all.
okay. But so here's the question.
Yep.
Are you,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean this to everybody, but are you creative? What are you creating?
Yep. That's an interesting question, because some people would deny that they are creative without considering the fact that they're masterly creative. They've created everything in their own life.
Yeah.
When we say creative, too many people might lean towards, I don't play guitar, I don't draw pictures. No, that's not the whole of creation.
We use that as a backdrop, or kind of like the biggest example of creating something.
Mm-hmm.
But just living and breathing, you're creating something. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you go through life, you've more than likely created a home.
Yep.
A home for a family.
Yep.
Have you had kids?
Sure. Your career, your job.
Everything you did in your house,
Right.
how you decorated it. This is all a part of it. So don't think that you've never created anything. Everyone has created something.
Absolutely.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you're creating for other people. We use the book and the song as an example, because this is the thing we can really get our arms around more easily. But everybody creates something.
Always.
So I ask that question
All the time.
almost not to be humorous, but what are you creating? Are you creating good?
Mm-hmm.
Are you creating bad, evil,
Yeah.
disruptive things
very powerful question that we have to ask ourselves constantly.
Right. Now, most all entrepreneurs are creative. A lot of people say, well, what's an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Well, that's a loose term, but it's somebody who goes out and puts some ideas or things together that might not have never been done before.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to write a song, you're not going to write a song that's already been done.
Well,
you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't write a book that's already been done. That's plagiarism.
Right.
But most all entrepreneurs fail. That's the bad news.
Yeah. Which is the
there's a
driving
silver lining.
force behind success.
Right. So don't feel so bad if you've tried to create things, and we're talking about, it can be a product, an invention,
like a business venture.
business venture, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And even some households,
Yeah.
the relationship may not work out.
Right.
You may have had kids.
Mm-hmm.
You still may have to do something with them and take care of them, even if that's not where your head's at.
Right.
Let's hope it is where it's at, because there's really nothing more important. You had them, you should take care of them.
Yeah, you should. I mean, that's good advice. Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, you don't want to be a deadbeat dad or mom.
No, you don't.
No.
But you do want to be an entrepreneur in many ways.
Yes, and get back to that. The thing is that even though you fail, it doesn't matter, because that's just an isolated incident. All those failures are part of maybe your creative process.
They're just chapters.
Yeah, it's not the end. It's not the full book.
Right.
It's not the full completed work of your life.
Right.
And the fact is that entrepreneurs get where they are because they've tried and maybe they failed.
Mm-hmm.
I should be really listening to myself here, because I've been very upset about certain things.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't this have more success, or, people looking at it? I guess I just have to kind of heed my own advice, and just say, hey, don't worry about it. Just keep doing it. And maybe one day I'll realize why I've done all this,
They're all
or you've done all this.
cogs in the wheel,
Yeah.
so to speak.
But every day is a creative process. And again, you have to ask yourself, really, what do you want to create? It's that simple, and it's something within us. It's the creative spirit within us
Yeah.
that makes us want to do things and do things outside sometimes our comfort zone.
Sure.
It's innate. It's part of us. And, if you're stagnant, you're not growing, you may not be creating. And the beautiful thing that we have to share is this.
Yeah.
You know?
And because we are, not only are we creating for our own selves, but for everyone else that our life touches and beyond, because with this creative process, everything essentially begins in thought. I mean, even if you're going to brush your teeth, you first think about brushing your teeth, and then you go brush your teeth. So everything begins in thought. So these thoughts that we have,
Unless you have dog breath.
yeah, or pumpkin breath or something.
You just told me about pumpkin breath. I've never experienced that firsthand.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Does not sound good.
No, it's bad. So when you start this process, you really get the ball rolling, essentially, and the momentum. You've gotten behind. Through your years, I think probably everybody's tried to push a car that ran out of gas at one time or another. And you realize, okay, those first few steps are, pretty hefty. You're trying to move around, 2 tons of American steel or Japanese steel or whatever it is. But the longer and harder you push, you could end up just running alongside next to it.
Just be careful pushing down a hill.
Right. Downhill is it's treacherous. Yeah.
Or up.
Yeah.
Know your terrain.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Find that flat spot.
Yeah, and that's true. You need fertile ground to grow this creative process.
Right.
Great point there, because that really is an important thing. You can't grow seeds necessarily on cement.
No, you can't.
So you need to know, if you're going to create something, know that at the end, and that where it comes, you almost have to see it in completion.
Yeah.
And that's really probably one of the most important aspects of the creative person or the entrepreneur. And I'm going to help them out, because I've done this myself, and believe me, it really works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to add something real quick, you mentioned seed. Seed is very important, because seed is not only that thing that you desire, but it contains within it all that is necessary to bring it to manifestation or fruition, right? So that seed is important, because when you plant that seed, whether it's a seed of thought or whatever it might be, consider yourself like the gardener or like the farmer. Once you plant that seed, you're not going to go out in the field in the middle of the night with a flashlight and dig it up to make sure it's growing. You just,
Be a little counterproductive.
Yeah, you know that the process, the universal process of
You've
all
let
that is-
go, and
Right.
with letting go, you've created.
Exactly.
Yeah, because at some point you do have to let go.
Yep. And I know where you're going next, and let me lead you
Well,
into
good,
it.
'cause,
Let
yeah,
me see if I
'cause-
can guess this. Okay, so let's say I'm an architect.
Okay.
And I want to build a building. I've already built the building in my mind.
Yes.
See, you were going there,
Oh my
right?
gosh! And you know what? That the architect is exactly the example I have.
Okay.
So stop rolling around in my mind, because it's scaring me, as you commonly do, on different levels.
Yeah.
But no, that's exactly it. Create completely, with full intent. Know, envision exactly what you want to do, picturing it as it goes along, and finish it in your mind.
Yeah.
So the architect that has that building, they want to create a beautiful building, right?
Yeah.
They envision, they see it, and they know how they're going to get to the final point where you're finally cutting that ribbon in front of the building and you have the grand opening.
Yep.
They understand how the doors are going to open and close, what they look like. Are they glass? Are they wood? How many windows on the exterior? How many floors? Every little detail. This is all part of the creative process, and it's very cumbersome.
Yeah.
Because when you are creative and you've created certain things, you know it takes time. This is not something that just it happens every second and then you move on. Sometimes things you create, such as writing a book, can take years and can take so much time out of your life. So you have to make sure it's validated. Is it worth creating? I mean,
Which
you have
is
to ask.
stage 4.
Yeah, because sometimes you may get to the point where you go, oh, you know what? This movie we made really sucks.
It's just no good.
So we're going to go write the video, and hopefully we'll recapture some of our money. But sometimes, hey, you failed, but then you know.
And you look back on it, not in regret, but you look back on it in advice, right? So you say, okay, well, what went wrong? What can I learn from this? you know, and you just don't do that again. We have a tendency to repeat our mistakes rather than just take what we learned from that particular event or that particular creative process,
Right.
and just change the formula a little bit.
Right.
You know?
So here it is in a nutshell. If you want to create something, finish it in your mind. Use your imagination and finish it, visualize it, manifest it, and that's how you created it. So a lot of it, obviously, is just done right in here, right in your heart, right in your mind. And you can almost finish something in completion. No, it's not completely done, but you can visualize it in your mind.
Yeah, it's
so
just
when you
not
write
in-
that book,
yeah, it's
know
just
how
not
many
in-
pages you want it to be.
Yeah.
What are the chapter heads? What's the cover of the book like? How does it feel? How's it feel in your hand? Actually visualize it. See it on the shelf for sale if you want to be a successful writer, right?
Right.
You're creating that, you're manifesting it. It's amazing the power of intent.
Yeah. Oh God, please. That's the ultimate license. Right
That's
there,
it.
you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, I like how you said that.
Yeah. With intention, all things are possible.
Sure.
There are no walls.
Yeah. So book, product, invention, music, art, painting, video, even a speech, or even a radio show. All these things, and especially a speech. You know, you write it to the last word. You may leave some open spots because you have a little free,
Creative license. See, again, creative.
and you didn't. The word just popped into that phrase.
It did. So those things that we write, whether it be a poem, a song, a sermon, a speech, whatever it might be, we've given a great deal of thought to those things.
Right.
And the whole process leads us to form or manifestation of whatever it is that we've created in mind and heart and soul and everything else that's not tangible or able to be seen yet in form. But that energy that it begins as goes somewhere. It has to.
It never goes away. The energy that you've created through that process will continue to be in that form forever.
Yeah.
And it may latch on to other ideas or whatever, but it's not like it just goes into some dark hole and that your thoughts and your feelings and stuff are nothing.
You know, I had a thought a couple of years ago. It was interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine who was deeply disturbed by a failure in his life. And it just hit me right there, you know, because sometimes these things, they just come out of that matrix and just, you know, and they just grab you, right? And I started thinking, well, wait a minute. If we are eternal energy, which I believe that we are, and I believe you and I are.
We've come to know that.
Yeah. And science has proven it time and time again. Then as long as there's no end, there can be no failure. It's just another step.
It's a
or
beautiful
another
way of
phase.
thinking of that.
Yeah.
You're right.
And so, you know, you really can't fail because it's never over. You know what I mean? So you just go on to the next project. You go on to the next phase. You go on to the next step. You go, you know, it was like Einstein, you know, or any scientist that does all these experiments and testing and things like that. Well, okay, well, that didn't work. So let's try it this way, you know. And it might take 3,000 attempts to get something right. But you get it right, you know. And without those 3,000 attempts, you would have never gotten there. You know, so that beautiful thing about the creative process is that we can just keep going and going and going.
It never really ends.
No. It
And
just
for
goes.
some people, that might be a daunting thought.
Yeah, it might be, unless you're the
Or-
ever-ready battery.
Right. I can still see that little bunny.
Yeah. I wish
Moving
I'd
along.
written that concept.
You know,
yeah.
to add to that, the creativity favors a relaxed mind. When we create, we should be in a mindset that we can create. And sometimes, as you mentioned, you almost have to let it go after the seed starts incubating and growing. Sometimes you need to nurture these things along, but sometimes you create stuff and it just kind of takes a world on its own.
Yeah.
You know, like a business.
Sure.
You may still need to feed it and do certain things, but sometimes it just takes off and then it's just bam. It's amazing what you have.
Yeah. And the worst thing you could do is worry about it.
But that's just it. The relaxed mind lets it move naturally. A busy mind is going to keep on, you know, tucking this part in or changing this or doing this, when in fact sometimes those little tweaks will be counterproductive.
Yeah.
And then you may tweak it out of its process. Yeah.
And that process, let the universe handle it. Once we release it into this stream of consciousness, there is a process in there as well that says, essentially, your wish is my command.
It's one of the hardest things, though, is to just know that the universe will take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's good and it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
and it has love and truth behind it,
Right.
then that whatever you created will always be, and it will always be good. And
Effortlessly.
unfortunately, sometimes we create things that aren't good,
Right.
and the energy of the universe may not be behind it, and so then it falls short. And then again, that's one of our failures. That's us thinking that we know better than...
Right, and we have to understand that the default is goodness. That's where, everything, the whole place would fall apart.
Let's hope that is true, because I believe that. I subscribe to that.
Yep.
I'm not sure if everybody...
even with our own, material bodies.
Right.
Basically the default is for health. And for goodness,
Right.
and for, pleasure. But there's also the stuff built in for pain and illness and, dis-ease and all that stuff,
Yeah.
which we do so well at creating.
I do have a question that comes up now. So,
Sure.
Okay. Is creativity related to intelligence
In some form,
in some form?
depending on what you believe intelligence to be. See, for me, and again, my personal opinion, I look at universal mind, God, the power of all things.
I'm intrigued.
And so I see that as intelligence, because and we've talked about this before, if you stumble upon a watch, you look at it, you think, surely there must have been a watchmaker. So that consciousness, that matrix that I'm talking about of mind, universal mind, I personally see as the intelligence behind all things.
Right. So you're saying some form of intelligence needs to be a part of this creative process if you're going to do something. I guess it doesn't really have anything to do with IQ.
No.
By the way,
no, or grades.
most
or
people
anything like
have
that.
no idea what IQ stands for. They have no idea that it's, intelligent quotient. But
I like it.
But-
We should use that.
yes, exactly. But most people would have no idea. They go, "Oh, what's your IQ?" Whatever.
Yeah, and there's just like you meet some guy that's never even been to high school and he's brilliant, or you meet somebody who's worldly and had been to every school there is and has gotten 5 doctor's degrees and they can't tie their shoes. That's not the kind of intelligence I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual energy or force
There
of
you go.
intelligence.
Yeah, that clarifies it a little bit more, because I don't think, and I was going to kind of slightly disagree.
Yeah.
I just threw that question out because I do believe
Mhm.
that a certain amount of brain matter, unfortunately, I have to use that term, but intelligence or whatever, knowledge.
Yeah.
There needs to be a basis for someone then to go out and create beyond, especially into new territory.
Yeah.
If you're doing something that's never been done before, really cutting edge,
Yeah.
or as these young kids say, bleeding edge. That's really where you're beyond. You have some sort of technology or something that's just so radical and new.
Yeah.
But yet it's supposed to be created because it's
Yeah.
something that's
Like
For
quantum
our
physics
future.
was at the time and,
and
still is.
still is.
Yeah. Where you just go, wow. It's that aha moment, and when scientists have aha moments, that's a big deal.
It really is.
So you're talking about this whole process and you're asking me about the intelligence thing. Obviously, you're leading up to a particular next place, and I'm really curious to see where you're going to go with that.
Well, I was just saying, where we really are creative is in our childhood. See, intellect aside, just about every child possesses creativeness.
Yeah.
They can play with their Legos and create something. They can play with their dolls or the Hot Wheels or whatever they're doing. But
Sure.
they'll mix different toys and create new toys. You see
Well,
what I'm saying?
they're in
this
that
is
right
all-
hemisphere more than they are in the left hemisphere at that point.
They're in the playful hemisphere, and they're
Right.
not worried about debt, bills,
Logic,
or anything that you really have to worry about when
Yeah.
you do get older. Because when you get to adulthood,
consequences.
yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, they just make up, friends and toys, and they could be holding a cup of coffee and telling you it's a spaceship, and they fully believe it.
I believe that when you're creative later in life, you haven't really lost that child creativity within you,
Yeah.
and it can be in music and dance. You never just grow out of it.
Yeah.
You're never too old to do it or appreciate it. It's all vibrational energy, and it
Everything.
makes you feel good. And the creative process is all tied into that philosophy and, what we talk about.
Sure, not just philosophy, but when you look back among the ancients, they knew so much for having so little access to information like we have today. I mean, imagine Plato if he had Google, right? I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
But you look back on that, and so many times this information was available to mankind in the form of parables or metaphors or allegories that talked about the creative process. These were all part of ancient teachings and ancient philosophical systems and religious systems and mystics teachings as well.
Right.
The ancient mystery schools were brilliant with the information that they had available to them at the time. So we're still using that same creative process today, and we will always use the same creative process because it's law. It's cause and effect, right?
Sure.
So, whatever you, as a man thinks, so he becomes, right? So, whatever it is that you're thinking about, just be careful, mind your mind, like we talked about 20 minutes ago, because what you are going to bring about in form or manifestation is not only going to affect you, but it's going to affect everyone. See, this is where we talk about like karma too, because karma simply means doing, right?
Yeah.
So karma. People say, "Well, I'm a good person. I don't do any bad things." I mean, why are so many horrible things going on? Well, because we also have what's called race karma, which is what everybody's thinking, what everybody's acting upon, and what doing affects everybody. So until we can get to a point of right thinking, right creating, there's going to be negative consequences.
Yeah, and right as in right, not right-leaning.
So go ahead. I'm
Although
sorry.
right is right because it's right if you think about it.
Correct.
I'm not turning right here
Yeah,
or left.
Exactly. Well, even you were talking about religion. Even Orthodox. Orthodox literally means straight and true. So the word itself, when somebody uses it outside of religion, when
So
they
an
say, well, it's
orthodontist
orthodox,
makes your teeth straight.
straight and true. Yeah, exactly. That's
Oh,
where
wow.
it comes from.
I had no. Yeah, that's a cool connection.
Exactly. So anyway, when you're in this process, you talked about this a few moments ago of just letting go. We have to let it go. We're so busy.
Let it incubate.
Yeah, we're so busy poking at things and cracking the door and checking on it. But really, we just need to let it go.
Well, the incubation stage is basically hooked up to our subconscious and then superconscious mind, which we're going to step into next. Before we do, though, I think this is important that I want to lay out getting back to the children and the creative process, because I think this is important. I want everyone to think back to their childhood. But children are very creative and imaginative, especially early on, before they're exposed to the rules and regulations of life. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Their capacity for abstract reasoning, like creative imaging and curiosity. I mean, it's off the charts. Before the age of 5.
Anybody who's had a child understands why.
Yeah, why?
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 Yeah, we always want to know why.
Some of us did. Some of us why more than
others.
Yeah. Ironically, though, it's at this age we tend to enroll our children into some education system that will ultimately extract the creativity out of them.
Right.
Usually by the age of 7.
Magic
So
number,
when the child gets to 7, they're almost just like a little adult. They talk back and they're fresh and they're not playing. And that's today. I think the creative process extended further into our childhood back in the old days.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but I have seen the transition. Haven't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, I think we were very creative to a later age than I see the children now.
That's because we were left to our own advancements.
Right. And
we didn't have iPads and all this electronic stuff and toys.
No, they said get outside and create.
Right.
Do
so
something.
that's what we did.
And I think the children nowadays think they're creative, but they're not. I think they're regurgitating stuff.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah. Well, it's all part of going from process to programming.
Yeah, and this may
it's
not
an
happen.
educational program.
Right.
It
is programming.
Yeah.
But I don't think this happens to all children. But at some point, most all succumb to dismissing their creative mind and not accepting it.
Yeah.
But the good news is this. We can tap this dormant energy. So even if you're a child and you start dismissing it age 7, 8, and you're not as creative, maybe you're not into, doing a lot of stuff, you can still tap into this energy at any point in your life. It's your choice. It's whether you want to go towards it or repel or attract, and it's what you want. And this literally lives and lies in the subconscious mind.
Absolutely.
So that kind of takes us to the next part.
Yeah, and that subconscious mind built your body before you were born.
It's really everything that you're doing, even your heartbeat, your breathing, everything. You're doing a million gazillion little reactions
Getting
and
billions of cells
every second, every minute of your life
Yeah.
without you even consciously knowing about it or being aware of it.
Yeah.
That's how brilliant you truly are.
Right.
Think about it.
Which puts me back into my reference to intelligence. That for me, that's a level of intelligence.
Sure.
When you cut your finger and you don't even really have to pay attention to it, and 3-4 days later it's healed.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah,
how
and
quick
you
it is?
I didn't do anything.
If you actually see the cut and if you consciously are aware of it and you want it to heal quicker, it will heal quicker. It may be by your conscious thought, but also if you're aware of it, you're going to take care of it better than if you were just ignoring it.
Help it along.
You're going to clean it. You're going to make sure that it has the right medicine on it or whatever within your grasp. So that's all part of this creative process. It's not just all mind. Your mind and your heart are telling you to do things in this 3D world that actually will propel that thought, that feeling, the desired outcome.
And so many different levels of mind as well. So, people say, well, they say we only use 5% of our brain or whatever. Well, it's okay.
Maybe you do.
Yeah,
Or
right?
they do.
But consciousness is a very small portion of what we're doing.
You almost painted a picture because sometimes if you look up consciousness and subconscious, you'll see a picture of an iceberg. And that's a perfect way to picture it, that the tip of the iceberg is outside of the water, is what you see. Most of everything is subconscious.
Below the surface.
Stuff you don't see. And the majority of it is. It could be 5%, and that they talk about this. You can only consciously maybe do, say, think, be aware of maybe 3 to 5 things at once.
Yeah.
Okay? That's
And
multitasking.
multitasking. But you're still doing those things individually of them, independent
But
of
it's all
themselves.
derived from the vast
Network.
vault of subconscious ideas. And your subconscious mind it's amazing because everything you do, say, touch, every experience, everything is recorded into your subconscious mind, good, bad, or indifferent. And unfortunately, sometimes if we're confronted with a situation and it's a scary situation, our subconscious mind can really get the best of us.
Yes.
Okay.
Been there, done that. Do that.
It's powerful.
Very powerful.
Very powerful. And it never stops.
No, it doesn't.
It continues.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to process something good on the creative process, your subconscious mind takes over and will work on this without you even knowing it. Just like your heart beating, just like your healing of your body.
Exactly. And the thing about subconscious mind is that it's reliant upon the conscious mind for the information in the creative process. So, for example, subconscious mind doesn't really have any morals and doesn't care if you're creating something good or bad.
No,
okay?
no.
It's just relying entirely on the conscious input, the data that's being received by your conscious mind as to what it's going to do. It just says, "Oh, okay, here you go."
And
that's bottom line, really.
And that's for up to you to decide what you want to create, because a lot of people don't even know they're creating evil in this world.
Right.
They think it's all good.
Sure.
Because their subconscious mind is not telling them good or bad.
Right.
They're just saying, this is it.
Right.
I see it, and this is your reaction to it. This is your knee-jerk reaction almost, or how you're going to respond to the situation you're in.
Yeah. And I keep referring to your wish is my command, the magic genie thing, but that's essentially what, the subconscious mind is sub to the conscious mind. Although it's running its own programming, and that's its job. It was, developed from the beginning to pump your heart and pump your blood and your exercise your lungs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the driver of this vehicle is our conscious mind.
What we want to do is command what we want to wish.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
reverse it around, as
Yeah.
philosophy always does.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important that when we're implanting those seeds
Yes.
into our subconscious mind for creation, that we are led in the process by divine conscious mind rather than ego conscious mind, because ego is connected to all of our senses and may very well pick something that we want that may not be very good for anybody else.
Right.
Whereas divine mind will pick something that's good for everybody, you see.
Well, your subconscious mind is quite brilliant without you even knowing. It can bring into life more power, more wealth, more health, more happiness, more joy by learning to contact and connect and finally release this hidden power of your subconscious mind. The great news is that you always possess this power. It never goes away again.
Yeah.
It's literally within you, coded within you, your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
It has an infinite wisdom, infinite power, infinite knowledge. It's always wanting to be utilized too.
Sure.
So it's never, like we said, it never stops.
Right.
And you're creating everything and creating it with everyone.
Right.
So don't think that this is an alone thing.
No, because there is one mind and therefore one subconscious mind that we are all partaking of.
And if you've ever invented anything, and I've created some products and stuff,
Mhm.
if you do it and you're onto something really cool, you need to finish it, and you need to kind of finish it kind of somewhat quickly, because once that thought goes out there, someone else might have the same thought. And
Sure.
I'm sure you've seen this before. Oh, I should have, I thought of that.
Yeah.
Or I should have done that.
Right.
And that's our creative process. And for some reason, we're being held back.
But we also use that same process, utilizing the subconscious mind for our own affirmations. See, and that helps us get to where we want to be. So, for example, if you're born in poverty, if you keep talking about how poor you are, you'll stay poor.
Mm-hmm.
But if you affirm wealth, then that's what will ultimately happen. But here's a key.
A lot of
that's
poor
really
people
important.
really have a hard time latching onto that concept.
Right.
But if you, that's the power of thought.
Right.
I can't, I won't. If you put up these roadblocks, you won't be able to.
Right, because
Get past
it's so connected to belief. See what you believe. See, so if you believe you're never going to be rich, then guess what? You're not. So here's the thing. There's a way around this, and I learned this a while ago, and I really like it. You know, if, for example, if you're not feeling well and you would like to feel well, you would want to be healthy, okay? And you say to yourself, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am wise, whatever it is that you wish to affirm. But yet, because you're saying that, if you say I am healthy and you're really not, you feel like crap. You know what I'm saying? What's going to win is you feel like crap, you
Right.
see? So what you do is you affirm the thing that you want. So rather than saying I am healthy or I am wealthy or I am wise, just say health, wealth, wisdom. So you're not connecting a feeling to that that's negative in any way. So you can go
Yes,
all
I
day
like
long.
that.
You go all day long and just say, healthy, health, feeling good. You don't have to say something that you would have to be forcing yourself to be in opposition to.
Change your thoughts, you change your destiny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then the other thing, kind of like, it's like an antenna. You'll receive new thoughts, new ideas, new inventions to create what you want, as long as you are, your antenna's out, and
Yeah.
that you understand how the creative process works, and that it's extremely powerful.
Oh yeah.
The belief, the knowledge, the thoughts, your feelings about everything, all intertwined into all of this.
Yep.
It's all connected, and you are so much more powerful to what becomes of you and what becomes of you and your health and your body than you're aware of.
Yep.
So again, be careful what you think.
Yes, very careful.
And yeah, because that's what you'll create.
Yeah, and there are a lot of and consciousness works statistically too. I think it's a very interesting process. So, law of attraction will bring to you those that generality of things that you are feeling or desiring. Okay, and then you will choose from that. But if the only thing being brought to you is a bunch of stuff that you don't want, don't choose it. Just let
Right.
it keep going.
Right.
Until you bring to you those things that you desire. Okay, and be careful with the, I want this, I want that, because you're creating more want. You see, so
What you really want is happiness, or maybe, so these are all just little stepping stones that may not really have
Right.
any greater purpose to
right.
you.
You and I talked quite a while ago about a wishing well one day, and how when we stand in front of a wishing well and we throw in a coin, most people don't say, well, I'd like to have a house in Jamaica on the ocean or something. They say, well, I want my family to be healthy, or I want to live a nice, long, healthy, happy life.
Yeah,
that's why
what
they're asking.
That's
for.
why you don't have a house in Jamaica,
Right.
Or do you?
right. But those are the things, in that particular time, in that that's what's most important to you.
Well, when you accept an idea, your subconscious it begins to execute it.
Right.
Yeah.
It grows.
Yeah, and so again, just be careful. But the path, the essential pathway to discover all this is the inner world of thoughts. You're feeling how you just relate to everything. It's very powerful. So think of love, light, and beauty as opposed to dark, pain, and suffering.
All the positive stuff,
Yeah.
no negative stuff.
Yeah. But through your subconscious mind, you'll find solutions to every problem and affect exactly what you want to desire.
Yeah.
Okay? These are the principles of the subconscious mind. And don't worry, everything's being recorded, whether you can remember it or not, but it's going in there.
Yeah.
I liked what you said about the belief, though.
Yeah, because belief is so very strong. I believe it's stronger than habit. Maybe side by side.
And what I always say is, in the creative process, a lot of people say, well, I can't do this or it won't work. Again, put those aside.
Yeah.
Know in the one reason why, what, when, and how it will work.
Right.
Undisputed.
Right.
And not the 100 reasons why it may not.
Right.
See, when you're working on a project with somebody, you always have a naysayer. We don't have enough time. We can't do this. This is stupid. The dead, it's not going to be good. Well, guess what? This is what you're creating.
Right.
So lock that person outside of the room.
Exactly.
And then think positive.
Yeah.
As hard as it is, but you manifest what you think. So again, getting back to the belief and the believe. And this is not like, the Christmas type of belief where you're,
No.
oh, Santa Claus is going to bring me some great gifts and stuff like this.
Yeah.
No.
No.
This is slightly a little bit more powerful.
Yeah, a little more important. Yeah.
Well, yeah, hey, your Christmas gifts probably were.
Yeah, when you're like 7.
Exactly. Come on, you still.
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the wonderful time of year.
Yeah.
But you're hitting on something so very, very, very important, is that whatever seed you place within this soil of subconscious mind is essentially the universal mind that runs everything. This whole planet, this solar system,
It molds
this universe,
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Right. So what we put into that literally is what we get back. 2 tigers get together, they have a tiger. They don't have a cat. They don't have a dog. So whatever that is that we put into the subconscious mind to manifest or to bring into form, be very careful with it, and also understand that the subconscious mind deals with things in a graphic image.
Right.
Since it sees pictures of things.
In fact, your thoughts, your feelings, your imagination created inwardly are expressed outwardly. Yeah.
As above, so below. As within, so without. Right.
Exactly.
And it's law. So that picture, that image that you're placing into the subconscious mind, we have to be very careful what we're putting there, because if I say, let's say I'm trying to quit eating pizza, right? I get up in the morning and go, I will not eat pizza today. I will not eat pizza
At least
today.
not for breakfast.
Right. And I will not eat pizza today. And I will not, no matter how much I affirm it, the subconscious mind only hears eat pizza.
Yeah.
So you can't do the I won't, I can't, I shouldn't, I don't, you can't do those negatives when you're using affirmations.
Right. Well, you're not supposed to finish those negative thoughts. So if it creeps into your mind and you find yourself saying, I can't do something or I won't, don't finish that thought. Just stop it right where it is, reverse that thinking, and then go back to, well, maybe I can.
Yeah.
or I can. And then eventually maybe
I
you get
did.
to- I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's completed.
Mhm.
If you think it, it can be done.
Yeah, feel it completed. Feeling is very important.
Yeah.
So just feel that new job, or feel that new car, or feel that happiness, or that just that tranquility that you'd like to experience. Feel it now, and it will
Come to you.
manifest.
Yeah, it will. And everything we say here, as hard as it is to hear it and then maybe implement that into your life, you don't know until you try.
No, you don't.
You have to try, and you may sit there and go, well, that doesn't work. That's just a whole bunch of hooey.
Yeah,
But
and these are not theories.
and it may not be a 1-to-1 ratio,
No.
but at least you're trying and you're putting that intent forward, and it's amazing how your life can be. Remember, it's not all about the little materialistic trinket things. Again, if you're focused on that and that brings you happiness,
Mhm.
well, that's your life, and that's where you're going.
Yeah.
What we talk about is at the highest level of connectivity, who you are, what you're here for. Again, what's the purpose
Sure.
of all this?
Yeah.
If you're here, you might as well be here and enjoy as best you can
Yep.
and create.
Get in the game.
Get in the game and enjoy. I mean, if you want to lay back, that's fine. You can still be creative there. But to give up and just say nothing's working, that's where you get to the point where you may need some help.
Yeah,
You
because
know.
you're running out of gas.
You're running out of gas. There's no more steam left,
Yeah.
and you may need the assistance of others. And that's what we're here for. We're here to open up that other side of your brain.
Because everybody, this is what
The
we've talked about.
95% you're not using, they claim that you're not using.
Right, exactly. But everything that we've spoken of today
Yeah.
is true of everyone. Nobody is left out of this image.
Your subconscious takes you at your word. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Yeah.
You
And
see.
and we talk about the subconscious mind. This is in essence the superconscious mind, and I like using that term even
Mhm.
better. This conscious mind is the aware, awakened state.
Yeah.
Your subconscious is everything that's filed away,
Right.
and how you are going to react.
The operating system.
Yeah, the operating system. But
Yeah.
your superconscious mind is everything. It's the conscious. It's the subconscious.
Yeah.
And it literally can take you to beautiful places.
Yeah, you need a great programmer. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not programming right, you need the assistance.
Yeah, you really do. And when we look at all of these shows that we talk about, all of these things, and particularly today with creation and subconscious mind,
Mhm.
it's to offer information that we have found through the years, many years of research and study and experience, and just put it out there and say, here you go, guys. Have at it. This is what we found, and this is what we want to present to you guys. And we're not saying we're 100% right. We're not saying we're wrong. We're just saying this is what we have found out, and we really do want to share this with you.
Yeah.
And through experience, our own personal experiences, we know all of this that we've talked about today to be true.
Right. And here's the great secret of successful or great people.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm ready.
Is their ability to use their subconscious mind effectively. And they just know it.
Yeah.
And again, it gets back to the belief. But to hear yourself talk about yourself or everything that you're doing, even when it relates to your body and everything that you want to create in your life, this is a process. If you want to finally have everything you want,
Mm-hmm.
it's within your grasp. Again, just be careful what you wish for,
Right.
and we're not talking materialistic things here. We're talking about on the highest level. You want a family or
Sure. And materialistic things are fine, you see.
Uh,
But
you need
what good are those if you don't have peace in your heart? If you don't have, joy in your daily life?
right.
It's just not good.
I wrote this down. 1 hour of conscious solitude will enrich your creativity far more than hours of trying to learn the creative process. So again, you can't really learn the creative process. We have the 5 stages, but it's up to you to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen if you're if you don't take the time to make it happen.
Yeah.
Again, the conscious the conscious solitude that it talks about. This is very important to the creative process, and eventually making that desired outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to add something real quick too. A lot of folks fall asleep with their TV on. Remember, while you're sleeping, information goes in, and you don't know what's on that television while you're sleeping. So the best thing to do is just turn it off when you go to bed, and then just put into your mind as you lay there, as you begin to get sleepy, just say all of those wonderful things that you'd like to see manifest in your life. See, because you could go to sleep and, I don't know, honeymooners are on, right? But then like 2 hours later is, Jason Voorhees running around, the lake, right? So,
well, this sounds like something you've had experience in. So, what you're saying, put in Mozart or something?
yeah, put something that's positive. Put something that's relaxing. Put something that's going to put you in the right place. And remember, the things that you think about most while you're falling asleep is what's most important. So just be careful what you're thinking about. If you're laying in bed worrying about all the stuff you got to do tomorrow and, oh, my God, my boss is going to be pissed I didn't have that report ready. Well, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Don't do that.
I find myself, I for a time, I really was able to have free thought. Currently, I've been thinking a lot about something to do with like a business aspect of something that I'm working on.
Right.
And I catch myself. I'm going, a year ago I was just looking up at the stars and the moon at night and the beauty of it all. And now I see what I'm creating.
Yep.
I'm going through the process of everything that I need to do the next day or in order to affect a certain agenda. We all have to maybe do something at work, a project or something. Yeah. We start that process before. But again, handle it in a manner where it doesn't consume you or drown you.
Yeah. And you're so much better at this than I am.
Well, listen, it's only through acknowledging it and working on it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as I look at life, and I kind of only use myself as an example because I've only experienced my life, I find that some of these things aren't easily partaken because we get in our own way.
We do.
And we've learned some really, really bad lessons or teachings that misguide us.
Yeah.
They don't take us to where we want to go.
No.
Which is home. And home, again, is happiness, health, and prosperity in whatever form.
Sure. And why shouldn't we have life and life abundant?
Exactly. For everyone, not just for ourselves. I mean,
exactly.
the more we elevate the people around us, the more we elevate ourselves. It's almost,
Right. And there's plenty of food to go around.
Well, you'd like to think so.
There's plenty of clean water to go around.
Right.
It's just that things are not being distributed as they should be.
Ironically, there's probably enough money to go around, but people hoard that. Or they don't.
Yeah, and what is it but, ones and zeros?
Well, we're not talking socialism either. We're talking just a fairness.
Right.
That where if you want to go out and create a wealthy bank account, you should have the ability to be able to do that.
Yeah.
If that's your so desire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, be careful what you think about and be careful what you act upon, even if it's, if it's political, if it's medical, whatever it might be. Just make sure you're in your right thinking. See, and I'm going to have you.
No. That's a great lesson in that it comes down to thinking about thinking. What are you thinking about? Mm-hmm. So if you want to be a conscious, awakened, enlightened soul, one of the first things you can do, and you're part of this creative process, the first thing you can do is, what are you thinking about most of the day?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and who is it that knows you're thinking? You are.
Yeah.
You see, you're aware of being aware. That's our gift.
I've come to the conclusion that I am one in step with God, with that beautiful energy out there. Mm-hmm. And when that's your co-pilot, it's an easier road to undertake.
Yeah.
I'm just adding that 2 cents in.
Yeah, no,
And-
that's same.
And
2
it hasn't
cents
always
that
been
I'm putting.
here, but it's. I'd like to think I have it now.
Yeah,
And it's a nice thing. You don't ever feel alone.
and I think that
in
you
this
know
process.
you and I, we have a pretty good understanding of what we mean when we say God, and
Yeah.
I agree completely and entirely with you that that's a necessary thing in everyone's lives.
I use that word God. You know, it's
It's all encompassing.
it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to take the energy side or the source side
or
or
universe
the religion,
or whatever it might be,
yeah.
you know, yeah.
But we're not belittling it. Believe me, it's bigger than you and I, and we're all a part of it, and we're all connected to it. Yeah. I don't want to get too redundant on all this stuff, but I will. I can finish up my little part here. I
Sure.
have a few little things I thought were
Oh,
just
please.
really
Yeah.
home hitters,
Yeah,
as I
go-
call them.
go ahead.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to?
No, I'm good.
You're good.
I'm loving it. I'm just gonna drink some coffee and
Okay.
listen to you.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to sum up the creative process like this, and it's weird because I just wrote these notes. I just write stuff down, and then I don't know what it means, but it just I figured when I was reading back through it, this made sense. So here we go. Where attention goes, energy flows.
Hmm,
Okay.
nice.
So what you think about, that energy goes. So where attention goes, energy flows. What you think, you create.
Mhm.
What you feel, you attract.
Mm.
And what you imagine, you become.
There you go.
There we go.
Boy, we could have done that 58 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, we
No,
have
that's awesome.
those are just little wrap up points, but we are kind of coming full circle, and a lot of this stuff, what we said at the beginning is what we're saying at the end. Hey, guess what? It didn't change. We're still on point here.
And when you say that, I think of emotion, energy, and motion, right? So when you go through that list, it really is. That's such a great list, and it
Just
says
short,
it says it all.
concise. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of language. Sometimes sometimes you just don't need too many words.
No, and we've used enough of them probably already today.
We probably have. So okay, bye. No,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
kidding.
it's so short. Well, this has been enjoyable. Again,
Yeah.
go out, create,
Journey.
be original, be
Yeah.
that entrepreneur. Even
Exactly.
if you're going to fail, don't worry about it because it's all a part of your process of who you are, what you're doing here. And remember, if you're going to create, do something good. Make it enjoyable.
Yeah. And listen, there's nothing that says you can't enjoy failure.
Exactly.
You see? So it's all a matter of perspective. I think
Don't like to, but
no, but Dr. Dyer said that change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Thank you for bringing
No.
so much to the table today.
well, thank you for bringing the table.
Great show.
Okay, buddy.
All right, man. Bye
See
bye.
you. Bye.
You've been listening to Quantum Flow Radio. Email us online at quantumflowradio@gmail.com.